Observing Myself as a Critical Reader in English 201 by Gjoni. My understanding of reader response. Normally, when I start reading any book, I don't really ask myself, what is the lesson I will learn after reading this? I'm used to reading either because I have to or usually because I'm being tested on what I've read. This semester, I was able to actually form questions while I was reading. I was able to point out things like point of view, symbolism, tone, and characterization within the story. One example is from The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, when the narrator states, "The morning of June 27th was clear and sunny, the flowers were blooming profusely, and the grass was richly green." This showed me as a reader the mood of the story, which was calm and peaceful. Reading strategies. I never realized how important it was to reread a story until after taking this English course. It all makes sense as to why reading a book used to be so boring. I only read through the book once, and that was mainly because I had to, and even once seemed like one too many times. However, now that I've reread multiple stories, I can come up with questions about the characters, setting, and theme of a story. Whether it's a short story, a poem, or a novel, rereading allows me to better understand the story as well as make real-life connections to that story. Another strategy I used was writing notes in the margins. This allowed me to keep track of questions I had while reading the story. One example is Antigone by Sophocles. As I was reading, I jotted down different characteristics about Antigone based on her personality. On page 30 of Antigone, I described her as defiant, in which she insults Creon. Digital tools. A digital tool that was used in this course was blogging. I was able to choose any kind of book that I would be interested in reading for the rest of the semester. This allowed me to express my ideas about the book in detail. For example, I chose to read Sarah's Key by Tatiana de Rosne. I described things like my first impressions, setting, point of view, and characterization. Blogging as a tool helped me actually become more of an active reader. I'd be lying if I said I love to read books for fun, but after using blogger.com and choosing my own book, I would actually consider reading on my free time. Also, by getting to choose a book that I was interested in, this allowed me to continue to read the entire book without getting tired of it. Making connections. I was able to make a connection between the short story Two Kinds by Amy Tan and my Art of Thinking class. During my first Art of Thinking class, we were asked to write on a note card our name, year of graduation, and one lesson we learned throughout our lives. After reading Two Kinds and realizing that the mom wanted what was best for her daughter, I quickly thought about the lesson I wrote down, which was to always be grateful of what you have, whether it is good or bad, because you will end up learning from it. The point is that reading a story can allow you to make connections in your everyday life, especially while you're in school. Challenges. I used to hate when the teachers in high school would say, "Okay, come up in front of the class and share your ideas with everyone." It's like I wish I could just say, "It's fine, I'll just talk from where I'm sitting." Unfortunately, that never worked out. After being able to work in groups and present short stories to the class, speaking in front of people became slightly easier after taking this course because I started getting comfortable with most of my classmates. English suddenly became a subject that I didn't mind. In fact, it became one of my favorites. I not only learned how to overcome these challenges, but also learned new techniques that I will continue to use throughout my years here. Memorable moment. If anyone ever told me to choose a favorite author, I would simply tell them I can't do that because I barely read any books. After reading the story, The Things They Carried by Tim O'Brien, my view on reading has changed. In fact, I look forward to reading more of his books in the future. His style of writing gets me hooked as a reader and allows me to read a book from the beginning to the end. Even after reading this over, I still can't believe I can say that I actually have a favorite author. My aha moment. Me writing my own poem based on a painting, you would think it's some kind of April Fool's joke or something. Poetry being my least favorite part of English surprisingly turned into my aha moment this semester. Based on the painting Landing Zone by John Well, I was able to write my own poem based on what I visualized from the painting. Being able to read a whole book without getting bored was one thing, but writing my own poem that just showed me that English becoming my favorite subject was very likely to happen. Throughout the class, we have learned so many different reading techniques that I will continue to use in my everyday life. Thanks for watching.